that's everything. We're recording now.
Exciting.
We're recording. So, wait. I mean, like, obviously, this is, like, the start.
Yeah,
and
this is some trial audio.
Exactly.
To see how it goes.
Trial audio, and, like, probably, like, most of what we're doing right now, we're probably going to cut away.
Yeah.
But this is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited to do this. We need to, like... I feel like I need to remind myself to speak, like, clearly and loudly.
I need to do the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
Also, I need to like not laugh directly into the mic. Just get this white noise. Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, wait. Okay, should we like do an intro or something? Like welcome.
Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the super exciting Oni and Daniel podcast.
Yes. Hello.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
About like, so this is like the official intro, right?
Okay.
So we're doing it about like Dido.
Mm-hmm.
Book 4 of the Aeneid. Aeneas and Dido.
Yes.
That
will mainly focus on that. I have a few gripes with book 6.
You have a bone to pick.
Just basically anything that Dido is related to in the Aeneid, that's what we're talking about today.
Yes.
In many different ways. I feel like we've probably got some literary angles. I've definitely got some political angles on Dido.
Yeah.
Mainly just a discussion, I suppose.
Yeah.
And obviously going to be some controversial opinions.
Some hot takes, guys.
Exactly.
Some hot takes. I feel so official speaking
So
like
do
to
I.
an unofficial audience, guys.
It's like they're here, but they're not.
They're not.
Let's hope they will be.
Hopefully. One guy from the Classic Society who's listening to us.
My mum.
My mom. Hello, Grandma.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
So, like, our hot takes.
Mm-hmm.
For anyone who isn't in the know, we did a trial run while we were very drunk.
Oh my goodness. In spoons. It was chaotic.
It was chaotic, but it was beautiful.
It was so good. And we should have... And then what did Isal say? We should, on the official podcast, put tavern ambience
Yes, oh my god.
in the background.
That's actually such a shout. Also, yeah, like, I feel like we should just also talk, like, shit about Isel.
No, I
Hello,
love
Isel, how are you?
Are you listening, Isel?
Isel, I know you talked shit about me and about my room. I don't like it.
Everyone has got a story about your room.
Everyone's got a story about my ominous room. Look, Oni said it wasn't so bad. To anyone who's listening.
We've digressed. Okay.
We digress.
Back to Dido.
Back to Dido. So,
Okay.
like, I mean, if you're okay with that, we could just, like, start out with my notes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hope that's, like, fine. By the way, I'm gonna set us, again, I'm gonna set us...
Yeah.
Yeah, although, like, I can just, like, we can just tell the time.
Yeah.
Just, like, for this run.
That sounds good.
How
long are we going for?
We're going for, like... I mean, for this, like, first thing, just, like, half an hour so that, like, we can recheck the audio.
Sounds good. I feel like we have an audience here.
We have...
It's like I'm talking to you, but also an imaginary audience.
Exactly.
How mad.
This is so cool. It is so fun.
I love this.
Okay,
yeah. Shall we? How about you go for your notes, and then I'll tell you my opinion.
Yes, and, like...
And then we'll just have a little discussion.
Yeah.
I suppose we don't have much of a progression.
Yeah. I mean, like yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, after this, like, we can, like, figure out if it works, like, just conversationally, or if we need, like, a structure.
Yes, actually, that's true.
And again, like, you know, obviously you have your notes in your mind.
Oh, yeah. They exist. They are real.
To the unofficial
They're
audience,
in my mind.
Oni made her mental notes.
I did.
Okay.
I made a document, and I didn't write any notes
She
on
made
it.
an empty document.
All the notes that should be on the document are actually in my mind. So
In your mind, in
I
your
don't
head.
know why I made a document.
In
Anyway.
Oni's mind palace, she has all the information about Dido. Okay, wait, so, like, again, feel free also to, like, put in your mental notes. Like, again, like, my notes are, like, probably not all that interesting. Never mind, let's just start.
Okay.
Let's just start. I'm gonna stop putting myself down.
It's like you're talking to your future self listening back to you.
I can feel my future self already cringing. Stop talking, Daniel.
Alright, let's go.
Okay. I mean, we were talking. This is when we decided to start. Like, what we already kind of, like, almost addressed before we started recording, Dido's guilt, which I already talked about, because like in the Aeneid in book 4, the narration, and I mean you could think that this is Vergil's voice himself, but the narration tells us that Dido's love is kind of guilty or immoral or like something that is to be hidden. And I was wondering, and that is like my question to Oni, whether this is because she is a woman who is remarrying, and whether a woman is not allowed in that kind of time and setting to just remarry.
Yeah, no, this is definitely something that resonates with Virgil's time, and all the Augusta stuff going on. I think it's mos maiorum, I think is the term, where essentially there were women's values.
Yeah.
Hello, Siri. Siri is on.
Oh my god, wait.
Women.
Ich denke.
It was in German. Oh my gosh.
Okay, wait.
Chaos.
Sorry, please repeat what you were saying. My laptop was going mad.
Basically, mos maiorum, Latin stuff. You know these things. Basically, women's values and then obviously men's values, very separate things. So, yes, obviously remarrying is not ideal for a Roman woman, a Roman matrona as well.
Yeah.
That's another element where she had to be very proper, dressed in a certain way, is all kind of based on reputation, essentially, and being very proper.
Yeah.
So obviously, Dido remarrying. Although, interestingly, Aeneas is basically doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I mean, like, that's
he's a
the thing.
guy.
That's the thing.
There's definitely a gender element to this.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, I feel the same way. The thing is, I was wondering, because, like, they do say that, like, she took kind of a vow just not to remarry again. And this is what I find is interesting, because I was like, if she did not, like, officially announce it, would it be less badly seen in society? Like, is it the fact that she, like, officially announced, okay, I'm not gonna remarry, and then, like, started something with Aeneas? Like, is that what's upsetting people so much?
I think it's revealing of how she's been treated, because for her to say I'm not going to remarry, that would be like the ideal Roman woman.
Yeah.
That is exactly what the mos maiorum is about.
Yeah.
And then for her to, well, she's not had any choice in this remarriage really, because it's Venus and flipping Cupid.
Yes, wait, let's talk about that as well, because
that's the whole other point.
This is a whole...
Oh my gosh.
Like, honestly, I reread, like, the part of book 1 where, like, Venus was, like, talking to Cupid and, like, setting up her plan. And look, it kind of convinced me of the fact that while, like, I mean, we talked about this before. Like, we talked about, like, who is guilty in the relationship and who's the bad guy, whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, while Dido... while Aeneas was never, like, in the know of, like, the bigger plans of the gods and, like, Dido being basically manipulated by the gods into loving him.
Yeah.
While he never knew, the fact that Venus, just for the sake of providing safety in Carthage, like, just for the sake of, like, giving him a safe passage, basically ruined Dido's life. Like, she made Cupid.
No, literally, I was rereading that passage as well. It's the end of book 1. Don't know the line numbers.
Come on, honey.
I was going to get the quotes out.
This is so unprofessional.
Basically, the gist of what Venus is saying is she doesn't actually have any actual official problems she can put on Dido. Essentially, she's just a bit worried that Aeneas is going to be off course. So she's like, I'm going to ruin this woman's life because I'm a bit worried.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it honestly doesn't take much for her to completely derail the whole of the building of Carthage.
And I mean, there is a gender angle to it, I feel.
Yeah.
Because, like, Dido's life is just collateral damage to ensure that Aeneas' story can go on.
Yeah.
Like...
Definitely.
Yeah.
And also, in that same passage from the end of book 1, there is a kind of a blame element on Dido already. It's like she hasn't done anything.
She hasn't done anything wrong.
But it's almost like if something does go wrong, we're gonna blame her straight away. It's
Honestly,
terrible. I'm laughing, but I internally am raging.
No, like it is the same with like the marriage thing. You know, no one blames Aeneas for like marrying like 3 women.
Yeah,
basically.
I think this is just indicative of like women in the Aeneid as a whole, because you have Aeneas' first wife, whatever her name is.
Forgot.
This is how bad it is. I don't even know her name. This is how much of a role she has in this.
She dies in like the very beginning.
She dies right at the start.
Honestly.
She's in Troy.
Yeah.
Aeneas is running away from Troy, burning, fire, mayhem. And then he's like, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, my wife. Because he's taking his little baby son and his dad. He's carrying them out of Troy. Very famous image.
Yeah.
And then he's like, shit, my wife. turns back. She's dead at this point. And she appears to him as a ghost.
Can you recount like the whole of the Aeneid in this style? Then he turns around and she's dead.
She's just
dead.
Shit. Oh no. She's like there as a kind of a ghost, like a wraith-like figure.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh no, it's fine, just go, like, don't come back for me. I mean, I'm already dead anyway. But like, your destiny, your quest, your maleness, you just go on. I'm just a woman, you know, I was gonna die anyway. I think that whole way of portraying women, like whether they're Queen of Carthage or a random woman that was married to Aeneas, well, like his wife, it's the same kind of structure.
Like they're just there to make sure he gets to his goal.
Exactly. And they're kind of just character building for him, to be honest. Like, who actually are they in their own right? I can't even remember her name. Like,
it's true though. That's so telling,
doesn't it?
Like, to be honest, that's like almost like a weird modern comic book trope. I don't know if you've ever heard the term, but it's like really like famous in comic books. Fridging.
Haven't heard that term.
Because
elaborate.
It's actually really interesting. It originated from what kind of comic? I forgot which comic it was. But I think Green Lantern. And
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Like they were running out of ideas for what to do with this character, so they just introduced a new girlfriend with the sole purpose of murdering her to give him character development.
That's literally Vergil.
Yeah, I mean that is literally what's happening.
Wow.
Now here's the deal though. I even though Dido obviously gets the short end of the stick. I like the fact that we at least get, in the end of book 4, basically just her perspective on everything.
Do you think that's subversive?
I think so.
Because I wonder this, because it's quite an anomaly, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the entire Aeneid.
Yeah.
And it makes you think, why has Vergil just hit himself on the head by accident? Like, what's going on? He's all of a sudden changed the entire perspective of the epic.
I mean, like, you know, Vergil is never going to be considered woke because, like, he lived like 2,000 years ago. There's no way.
I love that.
Like, Vergil is like not like a super like, you know, he's not a person considered with like social justice in the modern sense.
Yeah.
But like, I do think there is a subversive element, an intentional element to it, and maybe even it's purposeful that, you know, Dido is basically being shafted for Aeneas' story. But then like Vergil chooses to like give us her point of view and be like, look, it's actually kind of shitty.
Do you think that's Vergil almost like promoting the position of women in society, or do you think it's more to say like anyone, regardless of gender, is not going to be shat on by anybody else? Do you think it's a gender issue, or?
I'd love to think that this was like Vergil purposefully subverting like gender roles and stereotypes. I'd love to think that. But like, I don't know if it would be too far of a reach.
Yeah, I feel like it might be a bit of a stretch at the time.
Yeah.
But it's a start.
It is a start, and
proto-feminist Vergil. Wow, subversive. This podcast.
A subversive
already.
like I think at the very least he gives us a very well developed female character in Dido, like someone who's like strong and like really cool To be honest, like, I think her and Anna, her sister, are actually, I don't know, I cared about them a whole lot while reading about it.
I mean, I don't know the literature, the scholarly literature, but you see a lot of parallels between their relationship even like Shakespeare, just that whole dynamic of there being like strong female character, like, and then the love interest obviously of Aeneas, and then you've got Anna kind of saying like, oh, you should go for him, and then Dido's like, no, my husband. I'm making it sound like I'm making it sound really weak, but I feel like that Anna's kind of like the supporting character to Dido, but Anna's interests are solely on Dido, which is something you don't get in these epics. You don't get female characters that have their own supporting characters.
Exactly, like those two females supporting each other. You know, it's almost like for those moments when Anna's supporting her, it turns into Dido's story where she has her own supporting cast, basically, where like for once, you know, like Dido for Aeneas, where for once a woman isn't forced to give everything up for a man, but instead a woman is just supporting another woman, which, you know.
I wonder how that would have been taken at the time.
Yeah, right.
By sort of that Roman society. I wonder if he had all these Roman women, like, I don't know, of any class, just watching it and going, you know what?
This is kind of rules. I mean, like, I wonder if like Roman males would have picked up on that at all. Like,
I think they probably would have been so obsessed with Aeneas.
Yeah.
And also, you know, you could actually say on Vergil's part, this is a kind of blanket over his subversion. Dido is very emotional.
Yeah, that's true.
Throughout her book. That's true. I suppose from the male perspective, in a really sexist way, they might be like, oh, you know, just two women having an emotional time, whatever. Yeah. But to the women, they could be like, haha. Yeah. They don't know that we're actually rooting for these people. These are like icons for us.
Yeah, I mean, like, to be fair, I think her emotional scenes, even though there's definitely an element to like, oh yeah, this is like so unrational or whatever, but I think they are very well done emotional. Like, I can relate to what she's saying, and I feel her pain to an extent when I read this. It's not like I'm thinking, oh shit, she's going nuts. It's like,
that is a good point, that actually all of the emotion and the pain that she expresses is kind of reactive to something else. She's not just going off kind of randomly. So in a sense, like, she is kind of fulfilling that very like sexist kind of trope of what women should be like, very emotional and that sort of thing. But then if you look deeper into it, I think she has every right to feel that torn about her situation.
That actually brings us so well towards like who fucked up in this relationship.
Oh my goodness. This is where it starts. Okay.
This is where the big big topic starts.
This is the meaty.
The
meat.
the meat.
The meat of the conversation. I actually don't think there will ever be an answer to this. As much as I would love to say that Dido won. Yeah. Like, I think it's all down to opinion, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair though, like, we talked about this already, and like, we had our point of views. Well, I was a bit more lenient on Aeneas, and like, you were more like pro, like, you know, Dido. Like, Dido has every right to be angry. After rereading it, I kind of agree more with you, to be honest.
Yes.
I mean, look, I still think that Aeneas, like, technically speaking, apart from how shitty he handled the breakup, because also, like, what the fuck, Aeneas? Like, why would you Aeneas in the audience, why would you just make all the ships, prepare them in secret, without consulting Dido beforehand? It's such a...
This is my point.
Yeah.
He just handled it so badly.
Yeah.
There's something I've learned about since we last talked about this, which I think just personifies Aeneas.
I'm excited to hear this.
It is a modern term. Probably shouldn't be applying modern terms to ancient people, but it's essentially purposeful negligence. I think that's the term. Where, because he comes across as a bit dumb, doesn't he? Like, come on.
To be honest,
so insensitive.
That is my point.
And
like,
it's like it's not that he reacts bad, he just doesn't react.
He just doesn't react. Like,
but I think he's doing that on purpose.
Yeah.
Because you hear about this a lot nowadays it's been actually recognised. People, terrible people, there's something like not quite right about their behaviour, but you can't put your finger on it because they haven't directly hurt anybody.
Yeah.
But what they've done is just not reacted or not taken responsibility.
Yeah.
And I think that is exactly what Aeneas is doing. And he's shirking the responsibility by doing that.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I fully agree. Like, for example, throughout the whole book 4, Aeneas is just super passive about everything. Even, like, the marriage scene. And this is what I find interesting, the marriage scene, right? Where they're in the cave and even Juno shows up.
Yeah.
We never get Aeneas' point of view.
This is true.
Like,
this is true.
Everyone is like, oh, Dido calls it a marriage, Juno sees the marriage. But, like, it's never like Aeneas accepts the marriage.
Yeah.
Because he's just a passive, he just goes along with it.
That
until
is
he
true.
doesn't.
That is very true. The whole of book 4, we don't actually get any emotion from Aeneas. But any like validation or reference to what is actually going on. He's just being swept along.
Exactly. And like this is what I think where the responsibility comes in. Like what you're right about completely. Where I was like rereading and I was like, oh shit, Oni had a point. When I was like, you know, Aeneas didn't think once what kind of ramifications there are to starting a romantic relationship with Dido. I mean, politically speaking, the amount of times she mentions, look, my reputation with my enemies and allies is fucked now. I'm surrounded by enemies at this point. And
he's just like,
he's
cool.
He doesn't even answer. Yeah, he doesn't even go into it. Yeah.
It's like he's not even listening.
Yeah, exactly. Like, in his response as well. Like, where he's like, look, I gotta go, dude.
That's literally it, isn't it?
Like, literally. And he never, like, except for the part where he's like, look, I never called this a marriage. I never agreed to marry you.
Yeah.
Except for that, he never goes, like, he never answers to any point she's making. He's just like, look, why are you jealous of us Trojans trying to make our own luck? She's not jealous. That's not what she's saying at all, Aeneas. Come on, man.
He's just not... His emotional intelligence level is on the floor. This man. And it makes me... You know, it actually makes me feel so bad for all those Roman women. If that is the standard that they are saying for men. Oh my goodness. I feel so bad for them.
Look. I want to say, though, that, like, this emotional absence... Because I was thinking about it, and I was still like, you know, there is something really tragic about it.
Yeah.
For Aeneas himself. Because, like, through the whole of the Aeneid, we see Aeneas just, like, shoving aside his personal wants and wishes for, like, the gods. And, I mean, there's this really nice line in book 4 where it just says that his tears roll empty. Like, they roll into nowhere.
Word, yeah.
And, like...
That is a nice quote.
It is a nice quote, and it is, like, kind of describing how, like, he does care, in a sense. Like, it is said, like, 2 or 3 times that he does care, and even once it is said that he feels love towards her. Which is the only time anyone ever says what he actually feels towards Dido. Which would be nice if he told her that, but, you know, never mind Aeneas. But, like, the thing is, he does feel love, but, like, this emptiness and this kind of weird emotional absence, I was wondering, like, is that manipulation of the gods? Like,
yeah, I was just thinking this as you were saying that. It's almost like he is just a prop, isn't he?
Exactly. Like,
and he is kind of embodying that role by... It's like he was a human, and then they've just decided they put this fate on him, and he's still got some of that humanity inside.
Yeah.
But most of it's just been removed with his and put in place his fate.
Exactly.
What he has to do. And I suppose he is powerless in a way.
Yeah.
I still think he's an ass.
Yeah. No, honestly, true. Like, true.
But
yeah.
He has lost a lot.
Yeah.
Let's be fair. And then you've got book 5 afterwards. He loses his dad.
He loses fucking everything, dude.
He does. So in a way, yeah, I do get the kind of sympathy for him.
I mean, Yeah, like, the thing is that I just think that, you know, maybe we're not supposed to read his, like, unemotional response as him being, like, super reasonable and, like, super smart. Maybe we're supposed to read it as, like, you know, this guy is, like, inhuman at this point. Like, he's just this... And I mean, it is honestly tragic because not only do we have this absolute emotional void inside of him, but every time he does speak about his emotions in book 4, he's just saying, look, I'm terrified, man. Like, that speech where he's like, look, I see my father in my dreams still, and he fucking haunts me. Like, what the fuck? If I saw, like, my father in my dreams, it wouldn't be to, like, haunt me. He's like, he terrifies me.
He's got demons.
Yeah.
He has demons.
Like, he's, like, fucking pursued by his father in his dreams. He says, whenever I look in my son's face, I feel, like, the warnings and, like, the shame coming up. And then he also is literally being yelled at by a god. Like, how scary must that be? Imagine Mercury just coming down, telling you, what the fuck, dude? Sorry, we'll beep that out. Telling him, like, what the hell, dude? Why are you standing here, being like a lover boy for this queen? Take care of your goddamn son, and just, like, leaves. Like, he's terrified. He says that. Like, this was... Like, when he says that to Dido, he actually inserts, like, I swear that this happens. I'm not lying to you. This guy just came down from the heavens and yelled at me. So Aeneas is just terrified of, like, the ramifications of, you know, following his emotions.
It is true. And something you said before is when Hermes comes down and says that to him, he is literally himself as a god as well. Because usually they kind of disguise themselves as something else. But he is, like, in his godly form.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, isn't there a
Even
story
worse.
that when Zeus did that once...
Oh
he,
yeah,
like...
someone exploded. It was too much for them. They couldn't take it. It just says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Although, I think it's quite interesting that he's so devoid of emotion, especially, well, voicing love for Dido, and yet he's supposedly related to Aphrodite. Or Venus,
right?
Because you just think, like, if
my God.
if that's in his, like, heritage, surely that should be something that he really experiences.
That is such a brilliant point. I never thought about it like that. No, I swear to God, like, what does his lineage, like, how does it influence him?
Yeah.
Because like, yeah.
Like what you were saying about him kind of being less human by having that void. That made me think, okay, that's kind of more like a sort of demigod, which would make sense with his heritage. But then I'm like, but who is the god? It's a goddess, it's Venus. So how does this kind of, how does it work?
Yeah, like, honestly, wait, now that you say that, brilliant point, holy shit. Like, don't we have, like, something similar-ish in the Iliad? Where we have Achilles, right?
Uh-huh.
And Achilles is literally like, look, like he's being offered, you can either have like a happy, nice life, and then no one remembers you, or you can fucking die, but go out like a champ and everyone will remember you like forever. And he's like, you know what, I guess I'm gonna like sacrifice a nice life with like, you know, family and people and whatever for like this glory, for like my hero status. This is what George Gazis. Shout out to George Gazis, best lecturer ever. My hero.
So hoping he'll listen to this.
Oh god. But this is what Gazis was talking about in Traditions of Epic last year, when he told us about like what defines a hero, you know, and like this kind of god self, like the godly part of them, in order to like achieve that kind of heroism, do they have to shed the human part of themselves?
That is an interesting point, actually.
Yeah.
And like you were saying with the choice that Achilles had to make, I suppose if you applied that to Aeneas has chosen I'm not going to be a human being, I'm going to devote my life to this kind of glory.
Yeah.
But he maybe loses the part of him that is related to Venus as well, because that is part of his identity. So he just loses all of it.
Yeah.
And then maybe, hey, this is such a turning point, because, oh my goodness, book 4 is the turning point, because if he stayed with Dido, he would live that long, happy life.
Yeah.
He'd feel so much love.
Yeah.
but he chooses.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, like, honestly, like, it is. I feel like Dido and Aeneas would have worked actually as a relationship.
I think they would.
Because, like, even though, like, in the beginning, right, when she's really in love, you know, it says, like, oh, all the construction work stop in so I can't speak anymore. Can't pronounce. Wait, actually, can you pronounce it for a second?
Carthage.
Carthage, thank you. When all the everything stops.
Oh, okay.
I had a moment. I'm sorry. When everything stops in Carthage, right? That was because she was so in love and she couldn't have Aeneas. But then when they're together, like, we don't get a lot from her, but, like, we see Aeneas at a construction site, overseeing, like, this is where Mercury appears, right? While he was building up, like, I forgot what exactly it was. Like, it just said, like, roofs and whatever. So, like, obviously stuff was going on again. So, like, maybe they were just a healthy relationship and they were, like, rebuilding Carthage, like, building it up.
And that is not emphasised at all in that book.
Yeah.
That book of the Aeneid, because I suppose they've kind of got to focus on the plot a little bit. Can't I? But also, just this is something that's been brought up by scholars a lot.
Yeah.
The entirety of book 4 may have just been a plot device to explain Rome's issues with Carthage in contemporary Rome.
Yeah.
So it's almost like Vergil was like, but what if they didn't fight?
Yeah.
How cool would it be, if we didn't fight? Look how it could be. And then he's like, but that it happened, so we have to fight.
And I mean,
and what a tragedy.
Like, going off from that, actually, like, this is such a big brain moment you're having right now, because like this connects perfectly to Dido's curse in the end. I mean, like, she curses them, like, many times. She's like, fuck. She's like, screw you, Aeneas. Screw you times 10. Like, whatever. Honestly, she's savage. Like...
She is.
When she calls him a faithless man, I don't know why, but that struck me so much. I feel like I want to use that.
I feel like to a Roman.
Next time
I talk
to my dad, you faithless man.
That's like the Roman equivalent of, do you bite your thumb at me, sir?
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Shit. But, like, going, like, to, like, the future of Rome, right? Sorry. Going to the future of Rome, you have, you know, all those civil wars. And, like, you know, not only the wars with Carthage, but, like, wars within Rome and wars which are, even by Romans, seen to be immoral. Like, all of that, like, is Vergil throwing up the question, could all of that have been avoided? Would there be a better future in Carthage? So
Vergil is kind of trying to be a bit of a peacemaker here.
I mean, like...
well, maybe not actively a peacemaker. He's like, imagine how it could have been. But then that would be subversive on like, Augustus.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, here's the thing. The part that convinced me the most that maybe it is actually subversive on Augustus is when Dido's curse, you know, when she's like, you know, you guys should fight and you guys should fight forever and you're gonna have, like, a really bad time. And I think at some point, wait, I have this in my notes, what she exactly says is actually really cool, like, no love between the people and no treaties she wishes upon them, which I thought was such an interesting, like, specific thing to wish upon someone. And I was like, is this like a meta kind of reference by Vergil to like an actual criticism on modern Rome, like, you know, like her curse in a way came true. We break treaties, or like we have no love among each other, like the civil wars and whatever, like. I agree with that. I kind of get the impression that part of her cursing is Vergil writing it from his perspective, and he just kind of put it in Dido's voice to make it, you know, that's what was said in the past, so it must be true. It's kind of trying to validate how it is now. I definitely think, and I can't remember the history exactly, but I'm pretty sure that there are references to, like, failed attempts at making peace. And so that is quite a poignant thing for Dido to say. Exactly.
Almost like a kind of a oracle moment.
Yeah, right.
She just kind of goes out of herself. A little bit.
Or like even more so, like maybe she is making this happen in some kind of way. Maybe this is like the original sin in a sense.
Yeah, this is interesting because
Yeah.
this is something that really struck me when I first read this book.
Yeah.
Annoyingly, I can't remember the exact phrasing, but when Dido dies, her death and the way her soul is kind of taken from her body is so different to how anyone else dies.
Yeah.
In
yes.
any epic.
Actually, yes.
It's like it's unnatural and unfated, and I think a much bigger thing is made of it. I think Iris comes down.
Yes.
There's rainbows and all these kind of things, and there is so much sorrow in that part of the book, and it's almost like even the gods are kind of like, we went too far with this.
No, honestly, yes. I mean, this was literally what I was thinking when I reread it today, the last bit, where I saw, Juno sent Iris to like collect her soul. I'm so glad you brought that up, because it is a big deal. Like, holy shit, this is like, hero status, more than hero status. Like, not even every hero gets like usually it's Mercury anyways, who escorts like really important people down, but Iris being sent down, this is it's like unheard of.
It kind of, to me, when I read it, it's almost like it added some colour to her death, because usually, it'll say something like their soul was lost to the winds or something like poetic but short.
Yeah,
that is kind of grey, and then you quickly pass over it and go into the next part of the story. Whereas this, it felt so kind of elaborate, and then obviously Iris, and I don't know if it actually mentions rainbows. I think it does. For some reason, Iris has got us in rainbows. Anyway, I was like, wow, okay, there's something so alive about her death.
Yeah. And I mean, the fact that, Iris is sent down to not only collect her soul, but like to cut her soul off from her body. As in like
it's too soon.
Yeah, it's clinging on.
Yeah.
Shit.
I cried when I read that the first time.
Honestly, it is really emotional. Like, it is one of the saddest scenes in any epic I've ever read. It's really good. And also, the whole speech of Anna beforehand. Honestly, I love Anna. I wish I had a person like Anna in my life. Who's just like, she's just like, I'm like, why didn't you tell me you were going to commit suicide? I would have done it with you. That's like, holy shit.
She's so committed. She's so committed. It's kind of sad, but also like, together to the end, I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's like, there's something nice about the fact that she cares so deeply that, like, she would have accepted Dido's suicide, as in, like, this was her decision, and she can make any decision she makes, and, like, cares so deeply that she just would have not only accepted it, but gone along with it.
Yeah. I think it almost just verifies the fact that Dido is not at fault, in my opinion, because it kind of implies that there is no reason for Dido to have wanted to die apart from Aeneas' behaviour, because she's got the support of her sister, she's got this huge city that she's the queen of. There is nothing wrong in her life currently. Obviously she had all this stuff where she had to run away from home with like her, what was it, Tyre, I think, fell, burnt,
something like that.
Bad things happened with her step half someone, relations that were men. Things happened, but currently everything's going fine.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like,
apart from Aeneas.
To be honest, Dido has like almost as like tragic and scarred of a backstory as I mean, pretty much she does.
It's like the same
tragic
thing, actually, isn't it? It's kind of a parallel, actually. They both lost the city that they were brought up in.
Yeah, and I mean, like, in a sense, it's more tragic because, like, didn't her brother kill her husband then?
Yeah, they died.
Yeah.
She's only got her sister, whereas Aeneas has still got his son.
Yeah.
And his father. No wonder she's flipping emotional.
Yeah.
But also, like, she's kind of, I feel like she's not got over it. Like, obviously, you're never going to get over that.
I'm going to get over the death and murder of my husband and brother.
But she has come through that to the point where she's literally building her own city. Like, she might be mourning, but it's not showing.
Yeah, no, honestly.
And then Aeneas rocks up.
Fucks everything up.
Absolutely chaotic.
Like, honestly, I mean, like, we talked about that already, that I feel like genuinely, like, Cupid and Venus are mostly at fault, I feel, in this situation. Because I feel like, you know, Aeneas would have rocked up one way or another, but if she wasn't, like, hit by this love arrow, which we know of, like, myth and other stories, is just a very, very... I mean, honestly, it's a cruel thing to inflict upon someone. You know, the story of Apollo, where he's like... Well, like, Cupid shoots a love arrow at him, but also shoots, like, a hate arrow at the muse he's fallen in love with.
No.
And, like, Apollo loses his shit about it. Like, he's, like, complete... I mean, like, the poor muse, by the way, who's, like, hunted by this god.
Oh, gosh.
But, like, it is... Those arrows are fucking mean.
I've heard of the story of Cupid and Psyche.
Yeah.
Where, basically, just this is a detour at this point.
No, go ahead.
Cupid tries to shoot Psyche because Venus is jealous.
Yeah.
And he puts a pig in her room so that Psyche will fall in love with the pig.
Holy shit.
Flippin' misses the pig and her, like, all of it. Accidentally spikes himself with his arrow, then looks into Psyche's eyes, because she's like, why is there a pig in my room? What's going on? And then he's in love with her now.
Sorry, that's so funny. It was a prank, bro. The pig was a prank.
Literally. This pig's just running around.
Yeah.
Chaotic. He's in love with her now. And she's, you know...
Yeah.
Going about her business. But yeah, strong. Even, like, strong enough to make himself fall in love with someone.
Exactly. And, like, the thing is, you know, first of all, mortals are anyways, like, supposed to be way more, like way weaker than gods, in a sense.
Susceptible.
So, like, you know, her being struck by this love arrow, of course she fucking loses her mind. Like,
Exactly.
Of course, because everyone loses their minds when struck by a love arrow. And, like, all that she's built up, all, like, you know, like you said, like, she built herself a really good life. All down the toilet.
All of it.
Yeah.
I think something that I definitely want to talk about here
Yeah.
is the way it's described with the arrow and kind of her afflictions. I think it's quite medical terminology. It's almost like an illness.
Yeah.
Or like a poison. It's kind of invading her body.
Yeah.
Which just, you know, accentuates the fact that it's not her fault.
Yeah.
You know, this is something that she can't control. It's a foreign body that is invading her system. And, you know, she's gonna die from it.
Yeah.
And she does in the end. Even though it's supposedly by her own hand. I mean, it is, like, technically.
Yeah.
But you could suggest that, like an illness, like, it just takes over.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly. Like, this is exactly what I was thinking as well, that, like, you know, it's out of her control, and it's just possessing her, really. Which, again, Venus was just like, oh, ooh, 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 I'm Venus. I gotta make sure that, like, my son, like, it isn't even for any particular goal. She's just like, oh, I just don't want her to, like, obstruct him.
Exactly.
Or, like, to hurt him.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, like, ruin her life forever. You're welcome, Dido.
Something interesting about that is, you know, earlier we were saying how Aeneas is kind of just a pawn in this whole story between the gods and, like, founding Rome and everything.
Yeah.
It's almost like the gods tried to make Dido another pawn.
Yeah.
But she didn't take to it. She wasn't gonna let that happen.
Yeah.
And she fought against that.
So, like, her suicide is kind of a rebellion then, in a sense.
Exactly. Whereas Aeneas is kind of just going along like, yeah.
Wait, actually,
woo.
Big yes on that, because what really confused me was, you know, when like right between her suicide and after Aeneas left her, she goes to a temple and prays to the gods, and she doesn't receive an answer. I mean, she received some visions, but it's never said who sent her those visions or why they came. It was just visions of doom, really. But, like, she never gets, like, a god never actually engages or cares, and there's, like, no answer to it. Because, like, in a sense, like you say, like, you know, her fighting so hard to get out of the situation, like do something about it. It's just something the gods are like, yeah, it's not part of our problem. Like, it's not part of the plan. It's, like,
they've already kind of accepted that she's gonna die.
Yeah, or like they just were like, you know, they were just like, yeah, Dido's not gonna cause any issue. Like, I feel like the gods kind of expected that she would just like go along and be like, fine with it.
They misunderestimate her.
Yeah, exactly. This is kind of, I feel, where our podcast has to come to an end, though.
Yes.
Because
I think it's been a really good first podcast.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed making it.
Our very first podcast.
Yes.
I'm very excited for people to listen to it.
Yes.
And it was...
Also, tell us what you think. Please. Don't tell Daniel. He's making a face that is pure fear right now.
No. I thought you were telling me to like sum up my opinion. Like,
no.
I thought you were talking to me there, and I was like scared for a minute.
No. Audience, tell us what you think.
Yes.
Give us any feedback. We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
We spent about an hour trying to get the mics to work before we recorded this.
Yes, please like share your opinion, because we're genuinely interested, especially in like the whole, you know, who's at fault and who's not at fault thing. Where the opinions land.
Yeah, where do you stand on some of the things we've discussed today?
Yeah. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed this podcast.
Yeah.
I enjoyed very much making it.
Yeah, so did I.
And
well, hopefully we'll be back soon with another topic. Which we will confirm at a later date.
By the way, we also take recommendations for topics to discuss.
Yes.
So please share them. But yeah, thank you very much for listening.
Yes, thank you.